Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here. If you're looking for a focused, deep dive into one of the most talked about stories in recent memory, well, you've found it. Today, we're unpacking Fredrik Backman's latest novel, My Friends. And let me just tell you right up front, this isn't just a simple story breakdown. No, this is an exploration of a complete emotional roller coaster. We're going to look at exactly how Backman constructs his narrative, the unforgettable characters he introduces, and why this story hits with such incredible force. So let's get into it.
Just look at this beautiful textured cover. It perfectly sets the tone for the depths we're about to explore. Real quick before we dive in though, the full audiobook is available through the link in the description, and you are absolutely going to want to have that queued up. Because here is the undeniable truth about Fredrik Backman. He's a cheater, and I mean that with the utmost respect. He is just a master at cheating his way right past your defenses. He deliberately writes about the exact things that pull your heart tight, and then he introduces these exceptionally moving characters just to keep your heart trapped in that tension. He uses everything they do to mercilessly strum those heartstrings.
To really understand this book, just listen to this perfect summary from a reader. Quote, "It's like your heart is an electric guitar and Slash is playing Enter Sandman on repeat for 448 pages. End quote. I mean, think about that vivid imagery for a second. That brilliant metaphor totally nails the exhausting, breath-stealing reality of Backman's prose. It's loud, it's heavy, it just does not stop. And yet, somehow, when it's all over, you find yourself completely out of breath, definitely crying, but also smiling. You're left wondering how going through something so intensely difficult can actually feel so incredibly good.
There's basically a strict law of equivalent exchange at play here. Honestly, it's the core rule of reading Backman. To reach the magical highs of this story, the warmth, the healing, the laughter, you absolutely must endure equally massive, soul-crushing lows. To hit that peak, you've got to experience a terrible low of exactly equal magnitude. So consider this your warning. You gotta be prepared for the sad before you get to the happy. And trust me, we are talking about lots and lots of soul-crushing sad.
Okay, let's dive right into this with part one, the catalyst, the painting, and the past. So the story kicks off with this brilliant dual timeline intertwining the present day with events from 25 years ago. But every great story needs an inciting incident, right? A spark that sets the whole machine in motion. Here, everything revolves around a single, highly sought-after piece of art featuring 3 tiny figures in the sea. And perspective is everything. Rich, wealthy art snobs look at this canvas and mistakenly assume it's just a sweeping, pretty picture of the ocean. They completely miss the details. But our main character in the present day, 18-year-old Louisa, who lives in a foster home and feels pretty hopeless, she knows much better. She knows the true, heavy significance of those tiny figures hidden in the waves. Her journey starts with a totally desperate act. She sneaks out of her foster home to view this painting at an exclusive auction, just needing to lay her eyes on it in person. But behind the auction house, everything pivots when she literally runs into a homeless man. A man who, as you might guess, turns out to be way more than just a stranger on the street. Ultimately, this transcendent piece of art unexpectedly falls into Louisa's care. Grappling with this massive responsibility, she embarks on this wild, surprise-filled cross-country journey to uncover the true story behind the painting. What she doesn't realize, though, is that this quest will inextricably intertwine her fate with the subjects of the painting and change her life forever. Which brings us to part 2, a cast of lost souls. Shifting our focus 25 years into the past, we're swept up in a distant town by the sea. We meet the core friend group of 14-year-olds who actually inspired that painting. These kids were finding refuge from their intensely difficult home lives down by the pier. First up, we have Year, a kid who never ever backs down from a fight. Then there's Ted. He's bookish and deeply mourning the tragic loss of his father. Next is Allie, who is fiercely independent and constantly having to shield herself from violent men. And finally, there's the artist. This kid is an absolute prodigy with an extraordinary gift, yet they battle severe depression and completely shun any kind of attention. Each of these 4 kids is carrying an immense, crushing weight. But together, they literally give each other a reason to dream. What really binds these outcasts together is the profound bond of true friendship. It's such a raw, realistic depiction of building deep trust when literally no one else has ever given them a reason to trust anyone. Their journey is marked by profound emotional growth and massive sacrifice as they learn to protect their loved ones at all costs. And as those 2 timelines start to merge, we get to see this absolutely perfect, unlikely dynamic form between the young, modern-day Louisa and the older, present-day version of Ted. Even with their total opposite personalities and the huge age gap, their interactions are just fantastic. Honestly, every single one of these characters has a deeply satisfying arc where they step up and shine as a hero in their own distinct light.
And this brilliantly illustrates part 3, humor meets deep heartbreak.
This stylistic duality is exactly what makes the source material so compelling. Backman just effortlessly blends these two extreme ends of the human experience. On one side, you've got genuine humor, belly laughter, and absolute hijinks. But on the other side, profound sadness, clinical depression, and terrifying, harsh realities. And the wild part is, he will sometimes hit you with both extremes within a single paragraph. His prose is so exceptionally clever that it literally forces you to pause. You find yourself savoring the words, rolling them around in your mind, and just sitting quietly with their profound meaning. He continuously surprises you in the most gut-wrenching yet witty ways. It all really boils down to this. It's the kind of story that will beat you up, then heal you, then change you. That quote carries so much gravity. Backman has such deep insight into the human condition, making this book a profound love letter to trauma, friendship, and healing. It's raw, it's dramatically beautiful, but I gotta be honest, there are times when the darkness layered into these pages may turn into the next chapter genuinely anxiety-inducing. You will feel afraid for these characters, you're gonna mourn for them, and with them, just as fiercely as you laugh with them. Let's pivot now to part 4, the final verdict and necessary warnings. Because of this immense emotional weight we just talked about, total transparency is absolutely crucial before you dive in. This story handles some highly sensitive themes, making it an 18 and up rating for very good reason. The narrative directly confronts child abuse and spousal abuse. There's underage drinking and smoking, very frank discussions of suicide, child abandonment, alcoholism, and plenty of strong language, specifically from kids who naturally use that kind of vocabulary to defend themselves against a really harsh world. These elements are not taken lightly, but if you are prepared for this intense journey, you're going to find that it's an instant, forever favorite that you'll carry in your heart. You just have to be prepared for the soul-crushing realities it presents. Because the aftermath of reading this, it's profound. When you reach that final page, you are going to sit there staring at a blank wall, totally out of breath, genuinely wondering, did you finish the book? Or did the book finish you? It takes a very real physical and emotional toll, leaving you drained, sure, but also so deeply, profoundly fulfilled. Before I leave you with a final thought, just a quick reminder that the full audiobook is linked right down in the description. You absolutely have to experience this masterpiece for yourself, so be sure to click that link. But as we wrap up today, this story leaves us with one pretty provocative question to ponder. We can ask if the ride was really worth it, and unequivocally, absolutely, it is. But maybe the better question is this. When a piece of art requires you to endure so much of its pain to truly earn its joy, what does that reveal about the burdens we are willing to carry for our own friends? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.